What is the most heinous, unspeakable crime you have committed in public? I accidentally started a mall-wide evacuation because I was too embarrassed to admit I dropped my phone in a store display. I was at Best Buy on a random Tuesday afternoon, testing out those smart home speakers they have on display. You know, the ones where you can ask them stupid questions, and they actually respond. I was asking mine to beatbox when my phone slipped from my hoodie pocket and fell perfectly into this elaborate floor model security system they had set up behind tempered glass. It landed right in the center of this fake living room setup they'd built with cameras and sensors everywhere. The employee working that section saw the whole thing happen. He was maybe 19 with a name tag that said trainee underneath his actual name. He walked over and I thought, great, this'll take 2 seconds. Wrong. He looks at my phone sitting there in the display and says he'll have to call the manager to unlock the case because trainees don't have access to the security keys. Company policy, apparently. I asked how long that would take and he just shrugged. Could be 20 minutes, could be an hour, depends if she's on lunch break. But here's where everything went sideways. My phone's alarm was set to go off in exactly 8 minutes. Not just any alarm either. The loudest, most obnoxious foghorn sound I'd programmed 3 months ago as a joke after my roommate kept sleeping through his shifts. I'd never changed it back because I never actually used my alarm anymore. I tried explaining this to the trainee, like, hey man, I really need that phone right now. It's kind of urgent. He gave me this dead stare and said, there's nothing I can do without a manager. Policy is policy. I watched him walk away to help another customer and felt my heart rate spike. 7 minutes now. I looked around the store thinking maybe I could just reach in there somehow, but the gap was too narrow and there were sensors everywhere. If I broke the glass, that's destruction of property. If I waited for the manager, my phone would start blaring in the middle of Best Buy, and everyone would know it was mine, trapped in the display like some idiot. 6 minutes. That's when I noticed the fire alarm on the wall near the bathrooms, just sitting there, red and obvious. And I thought, you know what would make a manager appear instantly? An emergency. So I did what any rational person would do in that situation. I walked over to the fire alarm with my hands in my pockets, trying to look casual. An older woman was walking past me toward the exit, and I waited until she turned the corner. Then I pulled it. The reaction was immediate and way more intense than I'd expected. The entire mall erupted in this deafening siren that made my ears ring. Strobe lights started flashing from the ceiling. People began flooding out of stores confused and annoyed. Store employees were frantically pulling down those metal security gates. I could hear parents yelling for their kids over the noise. Within 30 seconds, Best Buy was in complete chaos. Customers were abandoning their shopping carts and heading for the exits. The trainee who'd helped me earlier ran past looking absolutely terrified. And then I saw her, the manager. She came sprinting from the back room with a massive keyring attached to her belt loop bouncing against her hip. She was trying to secure the store and do a head count of employees at the same time. I walked up to her calmly and had to shout over the sirens. Hey, I know this is bad timing, but my phone is stuck in that security display and I really need it. She looked at me like I had 3 heads, but the alarm was so loud and everyone was panicking, so she just nodded. She unlocked the case without even thinking twice while other employees were ushering the last customers toward the emergency exit. I grabbed my phone and checked the time. 45 seconds before the alarm would have gone off. I slipped it into my pocket and calmly walked toward the exit with everyone else trying to blend into the crowd. By the time I got outside, there were already 3 fire trucks pulling into the parking lot. Firefighters in full gear were rushing toward the entrance. Mall security was setting up barriers and redirecting traffic. The whole parking lot looked like a disaster movie. I stood there with probably 200 other people just watching. The mall was closed for 2 hours while they did a full sweep of every store. When the fire chief finally came out to address everyone, he asked if anyone had seen smoke or knew what triggered the alarm. That's when mall security started reviewing footage. They pulled me aside 20 minutes later because the cameras clearly showed me pulling the alarm near the Best Buy bathrooms. I felt my stomach drop, but I kept my face neutral. The security guard asked why I did it, and I said I smelled smoke near the food court and panicked. I told him I thought I was helping and didn't realize it would cause all this. He looked at me for a long moment, then radioed something to his supervisor. 5 minutes later, the fire chief came over and actually thanked me for being vigilant. Said it's better to be safe than sorry, and that I did the right thing even though it turned out to be a false alarm. My phone never made a sound, and I've never been back to that mall since.